just finished a therapy session, virtual, of course. And we talked about some things that I thought might be beneficial for other people to reflect on, especially those who have experienced an abusive relationship. During the session, I realized that I felt a lot of shame for having stayed in that relationship. And I was really surprised at myself that I continued to make excuses for this person. I told her, my therapist, I never thought I would be that person. It just never occurred to me in a million years. And yeah, I didn't realize how much shame I had about that. And I don't think there's any shame in loving someone, you know. I don't feel shame for loving him. But I've always been I have worked hard to have boundaries, you know, to know my self-worth and to have boundaries around it that reflect that worth. And that relationship really defied all of that work, you know. And even my closest friends would say, like, I've never seen you, I think one of my friends used the word patience. It made it sound like a compliment almost. You have so much patience with him. But really, you know, she meant you're making excuses for him. And I did. I made excuses to myself, right? In order to make it okay. But the truth is, it wasn't okay. I wasn't okay. And I did eventually leave. And this person's been in touch with me more recently. It's been 5 years. And they've been reaching out and telling me that they're still in love with me. And I still have feelings for this person, but I would never go back. I'm working on finding closure, you know, from within. I've known that this whole time, but what I didn't know is I'm working on forgiving myself for having put myself in that position in the first place. And I know that those of you who are watching this who have been in abusive relationship will maybe understand the shame that I'm talking about. And it doesn't reflect on your self-worth. Which is something that I've been really struggling with. I don't know. I wanted this to be more uplifting. But the thing is, like, when you go through a healing process, you know, it has to get worse before it gets better. And used to own a house cleaning company. It's like I would always tell the owners, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. You kind of like tear the house apart to put it back together. Obviously not literally, but I think that's a good example of what this is like. Or like getting a massage, it stirs up toxins in your body. It brings a lot of discomfort, pain, but ultimately it's part of the healing process. And so is this. It's uncomfortable, it's scary. It sometimes feels like backsliding, maybe. But I don't think it is. I think it's renewal, rebirth, regeneration. There's a new perspective. There's a feeling of love extended to oneself. That shame is coming from a beautiful place, right? You want to see yourself in a beautiful light, full of promise, and you want to think of yourself as someone who would go to great lengths to protect yourself. And when you look back and see that maybe that wasn't what had happened, you feel ashamed on your own behalf. You know what I mean? It's some other part of you that wants to protect you. I can say that the relationship I had with this person was just a reflection of some of my past. My childhood, and maybe there was a part of me that felt like I deserved it because I saw it a lot when I was young. And I need to look really hard and long at my relationships, because I've recognized a pattern of more nuanced abuse, or toxicity in language or in any other area. But I have tolerated some things that I was surprised about looking back. Having standards is hugely important. And I think a lot of people, especially those that have gone through some kind of physical or verbal abuse or sexual abuse, feel like it tainted their worth, And I'm here to tell you that it didn't. I'm here to tell myself that. Somebody recently said to me, like, picture somebody that you love, that comforts you, somebody that you really, really, like a being. It doesn't have to be a person. And I pictured my cat. I know, but I live alone and it's COVID. Like, he's on my lap right now. This is the being that I see the most, way more than other beings because of the circumstances we're in. So anyway, this person asked me to think about this being and, what did I want for it, him or her. And I wanted him to be nurtured, I wanted him to thrive. I forget all the words that I used, but I just wanted him to feel so loved and so cared for. And she said, now take all of those words and turn them back on yourself. Imagine that, you want all of those same things for yourself. And it just made a different kind of sense because I had just said those words out loud about another being. Sorry, my nose is running. And it just made me kind of feel this sense of compassion. The kind of compassion I have for my little fuzzy right here. and to turn it around onto myself, and it felt really special and really beautiful. And I just think that that's a really wonderful way of looking at yourself when you're in a moment like this, the moment that I was just in, where you're questioning your worth or feeling shame, is to just picture whatever being you love the most, whatever being brings you the most comfort right now, and just imagine all of the wonderful things you want for them to be given to yourself. Imagine that there's somebody that's looking out for you the way that you're looking out for that being. That's kind of sweet.